So, you are inheriting the head coach from the Dallas Cowboys for almost 10 years, Mr. Jason Garrett, otherwise known as Coach Clapp. All right? He's had a couple of...
that long?
Yeah. We hired him back in 2010, 11? He was with us like 9 years, 9 to 10 years.
That's crazy.
No wonder Cowboy fans are so toxic and angry all the time.
Yeah. Welcome to season number 2 of the Go for 2 podcast, episode number 6. I am your host, Jackson Walsh. I got my friend and my buddy, my pal, beautiful as ever, Lucas Aver with me. Lucas, how are you, bud?
Yeah, I'm good. You know, I got distracted while we were doing the intro because I got to looking at your hair, man, because it's coming up right here.
Dude, it's all over the place.
On the top, it's like you need some gel or something. But anyway.
I need something going on. I got something. But dude, what is it? You heard another voice in the background. Who we got with us over here, Lucas? What's up?
We have Mr. Tyler himself, all right? He has commented on one episode only, all right? So I don't know why we're allowing him to be here.
I know Casey's commented on like literally every episode, so.
Yeah, he has to be here. He's going to be our guest today. He's a Giants fan, if you can't tell from the ugly jersey. And so yeah, I'll let him say whatever he wants to say for his intro.
All right, I appreciate y'all having me on. I'm Tyler. I'm the co-host for the 100 Point Club podcast that we do on YouTube. It's me and my buddies. We just talk COD esports. If you're interested in that, just tune in one day.
Absolutely.
I'm really happy to be on and ready to talk some football.
Dude, thanks for coming on, man. It's our first guest ever. We're super happy to have you, man. And, of course, we're going to leave the description for the 100 Point Club podcast down. Leave the link, in the description. I wish I could talk today, Lucas. Jesus Christ.
Did you say we were super happy to have him?
We are super happy to have him. Why wouldn't we be happy?
Real quick, before you get to the comments, I got a bone to pick, all right? We just recorded the Hometown Heroes episode for our YouTube.
Yeah.
And we're back-to-back recording here because Mondays is when we record our stuff. So if any of you think we're late on our news, we're not. We just record on Mondays, you losers, all right? So get with the program, okay? Anyways, all right, this guy Tyler gets on the Hometown Heroes. It's Hometown Heroes. It's 50% for the Titans, 50% for the Cowboys, okay?
Facts.
We took like 3% from the Cowboys and gave it to the Giants just so Tyler could feel welcome, all right? All right? And he wants to come on and thrash our teams, man.
Yeah, he did. He was coming at the Titans, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
He came at your throat sideways.
You love me, though.
And rub you the comments. That's true. Before you get the comments, I do want to say something. I know that Casey's going to say something about the Patriots or whatever.
Of course.
All right. And I just want to say that it must be bad to be in the presence of a Giants fan, knowing that Eli Manning. That's all it is. That's all it is.
That's it. I think Lucas kind of broke up for us for a second there, but what he was saying is it must be crazy to be in the presence of a Giants fan when Eli Manning took 2 championships away from Tom Brady. I think that's what he was going with. Like, we were having a little bit of lagging issues, but I definitely got that. And yeah, that's definitely got to hurt. It's got to sting. Check out the jersey, Casey, just for you. Check it out. But speaking of that, Casey, oh, by the way, Casey, thank you, man. You always commenting on the videos, always commenting on the podcast. You are the GOAT. Thank you, Casey. We appreciate you. Even Tyler here on our own podcast did not comment on the last video. Isn't that crazy? It's got to be wild, man. I'm telling you. We got to have Casey on the pod at one point, Lucas. Have him on here talking about his high school teams and such. Anyway.
I'd be starved for some content.
First comment, he said, Lucas said it. Oh yeah, Brady is the GOAT. He's like the coach on the field playing quarterback. Like I said, get your Tampa jersey on the podcast, Lucas.
He is the GOAT.
That is facts. Yeah. Next one is about you, Lucas. Here we go. You ready? Ready for this? This one's just for you. He says,
Ooh.
LOL, Lucas, you're laughing at the New England Patriots. Come on, man. They have the best coach of all time. He could train a homeless guy as a quarterback and still win games. It's all about buying in the system and winning as a team. Gosh, Lucas.
I also remember when the greatest coach of all time was a coach for the Browns, and they were terrible, okay? Yeah, you can only do so much. We've seen what happened last year with the GOAT quarterback. You couldn't put up points against the Titans. And let's be honest, like, our cornerbacks aren't exactly elite. Like, they're good, but we have no pass rush. Tom Brady has time to get the ball to Edelman. Okay, yeah. Come on, man. There's just nothing there. There's no talent there for him to work with.
This next one's for me, of course. Third and final comment we have from Casey. Thank you, Casey, by the way. Jackson, let's get real. The only way the Cowboys get in the playoffs, the only way is they have to destroy the Eagles, Giants, and Redskins. And for some reason, they still can't do it. We can't even do it with the best roster that we had last year. Haven't been able to do anything since the golden years of the 1990s. Thanks, Casey. I really appreciate it. He's totally right. We couldn't beat the Eagles practice squad last year. We somehow managed to beat the Giants twice. We're due to lose to them this year. And I'm not just saying this just because you're here, Tyler. I've been saying this for forever. I'm telling you, the Giants are going to thrash us this year. I don't know what it is. It's going to be Jason Garrett, Coach Clapp on the sidelines, okay? But he's going to make it happen. And for some reason, we're due for it. We're due for an 0-2 year. It's going to happen. So, I still think we're the best team in the division, though.
Look at he's like, ooh, I can't wait to beat the Cowboys, man.
I remember last time we
ready.
beat the Cowboys because Janoris Jenkins clamped Dez up the entire time. That was the last time we beat him.
Yeah, man, he wasn't able to throw up the X that day, so.
Yeah, he wasn't.
That was rough. But he did catch it against Green Bay. Dez caught it.
Dez did catch that.
He caught it.
That's true.
He caught it, bro. He caught it. Cost us a trip to the NFC Championship game. Ooh, I'm still mad at the refs for that.
So first off here, guys, I think we're gonna start off with Frank Wright said some interesting stuff. All right.
He did.
Said some neat things, Mr. Jackson. What you got, buddy?
He did. Okay, so Frank Reich kind of gave a little bit of an interview. He was talking about Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers was asked, he was asked about Phillip Rivers because Phillip Rivers only signed a 1-year contract, right? 1 year, $25 million. Frank Reich said, I can just tell you, I really believe it is Phillip Rivers, to play multiple years with the Colts. That's a quote from Frank Reich. He believes that it is Phillip Rivers' intent to play multiple years with the Colts. So I only bring that to light because I saw a report last week that Phillip Rivers apparently has bought into a youth league or a youth team. He wants to really coach next year. This is going to be his last year. It's kind of a hoorah. I'm curious as to your guys' thoughts on this. Let's say Phillip Rivers, is this the last kind of attempt for Rivers to kind of revive his career? Or if he has a bad year this year, is he out? What are you guys' thoughts on Phillip Rivers here?
Yes and no. It's like, for me, I definitely think it's one of those deals where he's going to come in, and if they have a good year and he thinks the team really has something, he might try to make another push after this season.
Yeah.
But it's definitely if he comes in and has a really bad year and the team crumbles, if he comes in and has a below average year, but the team is good and they still want to keep him, I think he'll try to come back again.
Yeah.
Because there's always that looming presence of a Super Bowl that he's never won, right?
Right. All right, I got you.
I could definitely see him not coming back at all. Yeah. He's there. He's getting old, man.
Yeah. What do you think, Tyler?
I'm kind of on the same lines as Lucas here. I think that if he comes out and has an amazing year, mid 2000s Phillip Rivers kind of esque year, then I think he'll definitely not hang it up. I think he'll still be playing. But if he has a below average year, I think he's going to be looking at his other options.
Yeah, I mean they bought a new house in Florida, right? So moved in closer to family there. He can golf and do whatever his thing, go coach the youth team and be one of the best players to never do it, to never get the ring. I mean, we talked about it a little bit in Hometown Heroes. We really think the Colts have a really good shot this year. They were just kind of missing that elite quarterback presence. Is Phillip Rivers an elite quarterback? That's up for debate. At one point, he definitely was. We'll see what he still has left in the tank. I think he could really benefit from a fresh start, but I do think this is his year. This is prove it year. He signed a 1-year deal for a reason. If they're playoff contenders, if they're really close to the AFC Championship, maybe I can see him coming back and playing again. But if they're just kind of middle of the run, barely make the playoffs, and are kind of one and done, he calls it a career and gives the gives Indianapolis kind of a barrier year so they can figure out what they want to do at quarterback. Allow them to address other needs in the draft, but then I don't know, maybe try and trade for Trevor Lawrence next year. We'll see. I'm just really curious. I thought that was interesting that Frank Reich said that he believes that Rivers wants to play for multiple years, because I don't really see it that way.
I mean, I can definitely see 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, and also like what a player wants to do and what he necessarily has planned to do don't always line up.
Yeah.
Like in his head, from the talks that he's had with the coaches and stuff, he might think that they only want him for a year. They drafted a quarterback, I believe, and so they might just want him to groom up the next guy. Maybe help Jacoby Brissett or help who they drafted. Did they draft Jake Fromm?
I think they did. Eason? Yeah, I think Jake Fromm.
Okay. Either way.
I think so. One of them.
Might try to bring him up, make him a good quarterback. We'll see what happens. He's a smart guy. He's a good player. And he has the best clean trash talking in the league.
He's like such a nice stand-up guy, but he'll get in your face and he's like, "Oh man, hey, that was a good hit." Like, he's like, "I'm coming for you."
I picture him and Coach Clapp as good buddies.
I think they'd get along really well. Hit the golf course. Play 18 holes or something like that, and just clap for each other. Yeah,
the entire time.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
So we're gonna travel to Philip Rivers' old land.
Yeah.
Right? We got a little deal with the Chargers, right? So their head coach came out and said that they did look at Cam Newton as an option for them at quarterback. But after evaluating him and stuff, looking at the situation with their team, looking at the draft and who they thought would fall for them, they decided they were going to stick with either one of the quarterbacks that fell to them, and then they were going to just have Tyrod Taylor play for them. And they've come out and said that they have faith in him being a starter this year. We'll see what really happens. I'm thinking Herbert probably starts some point in the season. So I just want to get y'all's take a little bit on that. Like, what do y'all think about that? Like, should they have just gone with Cam, even though they had Tyrod Taylor?
I think it's super interesting because, like, what were the Chargers were kind of one of the hot spots that you and me kind of picked out for Cam to possibly land. As soon as everything started kind of fumbling with Carolina, we thought, like, immediately go to LA, provide a winning attitude. They lost Phillip Rivers. Obviously, they need a fresh start. Maybe they draft somebody in the draft still, but then you're still able to compete and go for a championship, or at least get into the playoffs with somebody like Cam Newton. Tyrod, he's kind of got the short end of the stick the past couple of years, right? He was with the Browns, and again, Cleveland gave faith in him, but at the same time they drafted Baker Mayfield at number 1. We saw what happened. Baker eventually came in and took over the team, created a lot of hoopla around that team. So I feel like it's a similar situation with Tyrod. Like, I think they're going to go with him for the start of the year, and it just kind of depends. It's kind of a flip of a coin. If they can just push him into the playoffs and they're doing well with Tyrod, he stays in. If it's very clear that they're just not going to make the playoffs no matter what, I think they go with Herbert and give him some reps. With Cam, I'd rather have Cam than Tyrod, but I understand why they did it. Cam's probably going to be a little bit more expensive. I don't know he maybe could cause some locker room issues. Is he the kind of leader and mentor that you want to have for your young quarterback? That's debatable. I think Tyrod's more he just comes off as more like that nice guy. Hey man, let me show you what's going on, because he was really supportive with Baker as soon as the transition happens, and helping him out. I don't know if Cam would be as forgiving as soon as Justin Herbert got into the lineup. So I just thought that was super interesting, because now I feel like the options are really limited for Cam this year.
Right.
I would agree with that. I think Herbert, in my opinion, should start week 1. I just feel like throw him in and just give him his chance. It's like, setting behind Tyrod is also a good option, but I don't think I think Cam is long gone from their minds since they drafted Herbert, because I feel like
for sure
Herbert was their option for the future, and if they wanted to win now, they would have definitely went after Cam, like as soon as he was made available. So
right, I feel that. I know you said something about it, Jackson. Like when you think about a team is trying to bring up a new young quarterback and they want like a veteran presence there.
Right.
if you're looking at the two, like, do you want Tyrod Taylor, who has helped with this? Example, Baker Mayfield, who's been a constant pro. He's been a good guy. Shows consistency, shows up in the building all the time. No drama, or do you want kind of a drama queen? Cam Newton kind of brings some drama with him. Even when they were winning, even when they're not winning, there's stories about Cam coming out. The crazy outfits. I know you've heard rumors about altercations and like him arguing with people and stuff like that at practice, and his opinions are always going to be known. And I wonder if you're bringing up a new quarterback, a new young guy, if you really want that as their mentor.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Cam would be very like in the mentoring mood. I think he wants to go somewhere and start. I think he wants to have his shot at stardom again. He wants to get back to 2015 Cam. But there's some baggage that comes along with that. Is he a better talent than Tyrod? Sure, absolutely. It's undoubted, right? There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, I feel like Tyrod's just a bit better mentor than Cam would be. At least that's how I perceive it from the outside.
I would agree.
Yeah, so Cam Newton back up to the Giants?
No, not one bit.
No?
You wouldn't take Cam Newton over Danny Dimes?
Not one bit.
Not at all.
As a backup quarterback.
As backup quarterback, no.
Ooh. So look, do y'all? Because y'all know about the Jameis Winston deal. He signed a super cheap deal with the Saints because they're kind of known for working with quarterbacks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They needed a backup.
Bridgewater.
Do y'all see Cam Newton taking a pay cut and signing a cheap deal to go somewhere? Because there's not a starting job left in the NFL.
There's one starting job left in the NFL. It's if the Jacksonville Jaguars want to wake up and actually give it to him, man. I'm telling you, I'm sick and tired of Minshew mania and the mustaches, man.
They've said what they want.
If they want to win, they go get Cam. You go get, bro.
They don't want to win. They're losers. Losers lose, bro.
No one in that organization can tell me, yes, we believe in Gardner Minshew over Cam Newton. I am sorry. That's just not a thing.
Look, I told Tyler this when we were talking about some of the COD esports pros. Some people are just losers, man.
Yeah.
And Jacksonville is one of those teams that they just lose.
Yep.
That it infuriates me, man, because I made a bet. I called it at the begin for this year. Lucas has my call in it. It's okay. He's got it all written down. He's our scribe, and he ever so lightly reminded me that I made a call in it that Cam Newton would start somewhere week 1. All right, and the options are dwindling, and my calling it reputation is clearly at stake. So I'm going to need the Jacksonville Jaguars to pick up the phone and call Cam Newton's agent and make this happen. It's either that or Washington, and I don't see Washington moving on from Dwayne Haskins, even though I think Cam Newton's better.
Yeah, Dwayne's not good.
Yeah, Tyler, do you see Cam Newton taking a pay cut and signing a cheap deal to go somewhere?
I don't think how he acts and how he's an MVP. He's an MVP caliber player. He done it. He's different from Jameis because Jameis has never been that man on a team. And I just feel like his ego wouldn't allow him to do something like that. I think he feels like and that he would want to play. He wants to be a starter. He doesn't want to learn anything.
So is he just retired?
No, I don't think so. But
here's the thing, man. It's probably not going to happen by week 1 as much as I called it. Okay, I still have faith. It could potentially happen, but there's two things that could happen for him. One, he takes a pay cut and goes to be a backup because he could do that for almost any team in the league right now. There's several teams that would love to have a MVP caliber quarterback as a backup, just in case, right? Also promotes competition, right? We were talking about that with Chicago before the Nick Foles role. There's some different teams out there that would love to have him. Number 2, someone inevitably is going to get hurt, and he's going to get a call, and it just depends on who does get hurt. Whether it's a backup that somebody else had solidified or there's a starter somewhere, that's how he's going to get his shot. So I think that's kind of what he's playing for right now is I'm going to get a call eventually, depending on where, but, I could see him. If he would take a pay cut, where I'd really like to see him? Pittsburgh. As a backup to Big Ben, because Big Ben has kind of, we're getting to the time where some durability issues. He's getting close up to years to where he's thinking about retirement. I know he thought about it a couple of years ago. He's pretty vocal about it. Cam Newton's a guy that can buy you a year or two before having to draft somebody else, give you some kind of that, that buffer zone. So, and Mike Tomlin, like if I trust anybody to deal with Cam Newton, right, and to mold him and bring him up as a good coach, Mike Tomlin, 100% is the first guy I think of. The dude's been a Coach of the Year candidate. It feels like every year he's been in the league. So I think that would be a real good fit for him if he would take a pay cut.
He should have won it last year. I know this is off topic, but
we talked about this. He was our Coach of the Year last year. We both picked him. He should have won it with everything that happened with Pittsburgh.
I guess Myles Garrett put a dent in that.
Big brain. Big brain.
I'm sorry, that was really corny.
That was funny though. We didn't make that the thumbnail, Lucas. Just Myles Garrett just
yonking on dude. Anyways, so anyone that watched the pod last week knows we're doing this thing leading up until the season. It's like our little season countdown. All right. Since the schedules came out, we are going through week by week for the predictions. Last week we did week 1 games for the NFL. This week we're doing week 2 games.
Yes.
Makes sense. All right. So we're just going to go in order. So I'll start with the Thursday night game, and then we'll work our way all the way to the Sunday night game. Me and Jack's going to do our picks. Tyler's also going to do his picks.
Yes, we're getting our guest picks this week.
Yeah, and then at the end of the year, not at the end of the year. At the end of this, when it's like week 1 of the NFL season, our episode will release our predicted records and everything from the games that we picked.
Yeah,
so
we're saving really cool all
deal
these.
To see how save all these and everything. So, excuse me. First up, we have Bengals at the Browns.
Yes, Lucas, can I just say, I am really looking forward to football, man. I cannot wait. When you said the Thursday night game, that gave me shivers, man. I'm just waiting.
Ooh, I hear it.
I can't wait, dude. I'm so excited for football this year.
Yeah.
Thursday night. Shall I go first for Thursday?
Yeah, we'll do you and then Tyler and then me.
Okay. All right, so we got the Bengals at the Browns, Thursday night football. Joe Burrow making his debut in Cleveland for his first away game. I got to go with the Browns here. I think they just have more talent-wise. I feel like Baker Mayfield, he's not shooting commercials this offseason, so he should do better. So I think he should have a better year. I think they're going to get off to a right foot. I just don't think the Bengals have quite enough yet to compete. I think it'll be a good game, though. I think it'll be kind of the first test for Joe Burrow. He's playing Sunday the week before. He's got to play on his first short week and his first road game. I think he's going to have a tough time acclimating, so I'm going with Cleveland.
I agree. I'm going to go Cleveland as well. I think this will be a good game for Joe to show what he can really do, because Cleveland's defense is really solid, and I feel like this will be his first real test.
First primetime game.
Yep, be the first primetime. Who they play week 1 again? The Bengals?
I have it here.
Oh.
The Bengals they're at home against the Chargers.
Okay, yeah.
Week 1.
His first solid defense he'll probably end up going against will be Cleveland. And I feel like it'll be a true testament to his abilities if he can pull some good plays out, just play correctly.
Yeah.
I feel that. Also had to go with the Browns. Universal picking. Browns.
Universal picking.
I mean, it's just Myles Garrett's going to eat him. No.
I think so. I think so, man. Like, I really think the big deal for me here is it's your second game in the NFL. Yes, you just had your home opener. Hopefully you win that, but you're going on a short week on the road, your first primetime game, back-to-back. I just think it might be just a little too much.
And you're still slow from the COVID stuff. Like, you're not necessarily settled in.
Yeah, you're not, like, hot and
as far as you normally would be.
Right, correct. I mean, I'm not saying he can't handle spotlight, because the dude literally had the best college football, season of all time. I'm just saying that, like, it's going to be difficult on a short week on the road that quickly.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next matchup we have the Giants, Mr. Tyler, at the Bears. I'm actually going to let Tyler go first with this one,
please.
since it is the Giants game. So,
this game was a really tough pick for me, and I think that the Giants are going to be improved this year with the addition of Andrew Thomas and Xavier McKinney. But And then the Bears, their quarterback situation is still going on. I have to go with the Giants. It might come off as bias, but I think we are the better overall team, in my opinion.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm on the same line of thinking here as far as New York and Chicago. I think Mitch Trubisky he's on the prove it year, right? So they didn't pick up his fifth-year option. I think at this point in the season, it's still early enough to where he still has his job. They haven't pulled the cord on him yet and decided to go with Nick Foles for a couple of reasons. Maybe let Nick Foles hurt and heal that injury a bit more, and also just trying to give Mitch Trubisky a fair shot. So I have the Giants here winning on the road. I think Mitch Trubisky is going to have a tough time. Also, the Giants are going to be fully healed, right? They're having some injury issues last year that kind of held them back, especially at the wide receiver position. I'm looking forward to seeing what Joe Judge and Jason Garrett do. I got a feeling about the Giants this year, man. I don't know, man. I feel like Saquon is going to go off this year. Now, he's going to have a tough defense to face at Chicago. But the good news is you're not playing Chicago in December. You're playing Chicago in September. I think that's going to help them out a bit. I'm going with the Giants on the road.
It's actually wild. So I picked all my games beforehand, so it's not like there's any weird stuff going on, but I actually picked the Giants also.
Did you really?
Hey.
This was my hardest game I had to pick.
This was mine.
So for me, it all comes down to the quarterback. Trubisky and Foles, I think there's still going to be not necessarily a controversy going on. I think they're going to come in and they're definitely going to say, we have to give Trubisky a shot, like the Titans had to give Mariota a shot last year. And I think he's going to come out and they're going to lose because of him in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Nick Foles probably eventually becomes the starter, but right now Trubisky's out there. He's trying to make stuff happen. I don't know if he gets frantic and forces something or what, but I have the Giants taking that game.
Interesting. We are all unanimous at this point. See how far that goes.
Next up, we got the Falcons at the Cowboys, Jackson. So this is all you, buddy.
Hey, man, home opener. I'm really excited for this one. We just played in a $5.6 billion stadium, money written all over it in L.A. last week. We're bringing it home to Jerry World for week number 2 against the Falcons. Falcons looking fairly decent, right? Matt Ryan, he's kind of a hit-or-miss guy, right? He either has an MVP-like season or he kind of has an underwhelming one. It's one of the two. We'll have to see what happens here. Julio's healthy. Calvin Ridley's healthy. Their secondary's healthy at this point. At least one would hope so. They also add Todd Gurley. Fun fact, Lucas, did you know that, speaking of running backs that with Atlanta, did you know there was one other career running back for the St. Louis Rams at the time? Goes by the name of Steven Jackson. I don't know if you remember him, right? He was a leading rusher at one point. He was actually incredible, super versatile, and electric. He actually went to end his career, or the next step of his career from the Rams was to the Falcons. This happened about 6 or 7 years ago. Interesting now because Todd Gurley was with the Rams. Now he goes to the Falcons, and that's kind of where their careers kind of came to a little bit of a halt. They weren't as successful in Atlanta as they were with St. Louis and now LA. I think that's going to hold true here. I think Todd Gurley, there's still something going on with him with the injury, something that we don't know about. I don't think it gets fixed in Atlanta. I think the Cowboys come out, hopefully with Dak, and I just think we're going to have too much firepower for him. I'm going with Dallas at home.
I actually agree with you again, Jackson.
Jeez, give me the win. Okay.
I really am curious how Atlanta plays this year. But if Dak is playing, I am picking Dallas against this team because Atlanta didn't show me anything last year. Like, they had some good games, but it was mostly just underwhelming completely. And I just feel like, their offense is going to show what they're made of on this terrible Atlanta defense.
Ugh.
Yeah. Lucas,
man, y'all got to stop looking at my notes before this, man. Wow, again. Yeah. I got to go with the Cowboys. I mean, I just, like both of y'all said, like, there's some weird stuff going on with the Falcons. Like, you never know what's going to happen. And for me, it comes down to coaching inconsistencies. And if your coach's inconsistent, your team's going to be in.
They will forever be plagued by the 28-3 comeback that they lost from New England. It's never going to come away from their minds.
Until the whole thing's reset.
Yeah, it's never gonna go away from them until they win a title. They're never gonna be able to get over it. Even then, it's still gonna haunt them forever. And I'm telling you what, man, like I think they just need a fresh start. I think they need a new coach, and we'll see what happens. Do you want to go first on the next one, Lucas? We seem to continue to be copying you.
I've got the Lions at the Packers next up.
Lions at the Packers, okay.
Lions at the Packers, and I'm going with the Pack. All right. Yeah, I know the Lions. I think I picked the Lions to lose last week too, and I know people are super excited about Okudah, and Matthew Stafford is still a good quarterback. He really is. Yeah.
Although
You're playing the Packers.
Yes.
And I don't like Matt LaFleur.
Okay. Croissant.
Right? Yeah. I don't know what he does in his spare time in Paris or whatever he goes, but
he butters croissants and eats them, bro.
He's not studying football enough, right? I don't have faith in him necessarily, but I have faith in Aaron Rodgers, so I got to go with the Packers.
Yeah, I'm on the same line of thinking here, Lucas. Interesting though with Matthew Stafford, there's some rumors going around. Maybe Matt Stafford won't be the starter at some point in the season. He put his house on the market in Detroit.
Well, he might leave after this year. It's like Tom Brady said, man. He put his house on the market early season.
That's what I'm saying. So there's just some kind of rumors kind of floating around with Detroit. Just, little intrigue, little spice on the Twitter timeline. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so there's definitely some tough places to play in the league. I think this whole COVID stuff's going to have a big impact. Depends on if we're allowed to have fans in the stadiums. If you're allowed to have fans in the stadiums at this point, Green Bay is one of the hardest places to play. Lambeau is an incredibly difficult place. So I also like the Pack at home. I don't think the Lions have enough. I'm going to go with that bad man, Aaron Rodgers, and Matt LaFleur.
Again, we're all in agreement. I'm going with the Pack as well.
At some point, we got to disagree.
The next one's hard.
I wanted to pick the Lions for this. I rate Matt Stafford a lot. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks, and
he's good
when you're in that discussion. But we're gonna, Aaron Rodgers is probably gonna have a healthy Devontae Adams. That team is gonna be basically the same as it was last year, minus Blake Martinez because he came to New York. But I think this team is still really good. I think it's gonna light a fire under Aaron. The whole Jordan Love situation.
Yes.
So I think he's out for blood, and I think this is going to be a tough game for the Lions if they do try to go out and win this one.
Yeah, we're unanimous all the way through 4 picks, man. This is crazy.
Well, there's no way we will be this time. All right, we're going back. We're going back to the OG cycle. Jackson, Tyler, me. All right.
Okay.
Vikings at the Colts. This is a hard game.
This is an incredibly hard game, right? We were just talking about Phillip Rivers and how he could be an integral piece for the Colts moving forward. We talked about them possibly, if you guys listen to Hometown Heroes, we just recorded before this, we talked about Phillip Rivers possibly even being the piece that they needed. Tyler said that they could possibly be number 1 in the AFC South, and for them to do it, they're going to have to win home games like this against Minnesota. Sadly, I don't think it's going to be enough. I got Minnesota on the road in Indianapolis. I really like what they've been doing in the offseason. I know that they lost Stephon Diggs, so I was really happy with their draft. Adam Thielen thinks going to have a pretty good year. I like Dalvin Cook against that Colts rush defense.
I agree with you. I have Minnesota winning this as well. I do have high expectations.
Lucas just threw up his hands, man.
I do have high expectations for this Colts team, but I think this is going to be one of their toughest games, with going up against Minnesota with a healthy Adam Thielen.
I picked the stupid Vikings to beat the Colts too, man.
Did you really?
You guys. All right, the next one's easy. It's Bills at Dolphins. Go ahead and go. Jackson, Dolphins. Tyler, Dolphins. Jackson, Bills. Tyler, Bills. Me, Bills.
I was going to say.
Bills are beating the Dolphins.
Bills are beating the Dolphins. The Dolphins don't have enough here. They're probably going to end up starting Tua. I mean, the Bills added Stephon Diggs. They're better all the way around at this point. They're on the road, but
it's Miami. Who cares?
Copy paste whatever you're about to say. That's my anser too.
Yeah, we're going to the next game. I can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. At 49ers at Jets. 49ers.
The Jets. will lose this game. I'm going with the 49ers on the road. Liked what they did in the offseason. Me and Lucas said it. They're clearing cap space in the future for Deshaun Watson. We say it every single podcast. He's going to end up being on his 49er, whether it's from free agency or a trade. I think it's going to eventually happen. Jimmy G and his chiseled jawline will be too much for the Jets at home.
Yep.
So, yeah,
I agree.
Solid. Yeah.
Copy paste, whatever.
Yeah, Sam Darnold doesn't have enough.
Okay. Rams at the Eagles.
I have LA beating the Eagles on the road. This is where I can see the Tyler's going to be different here. I think, yeah, man. I mean, I'm going with the Rams. I know that they had some different, some questionable acquisitions. I know they still have Jalen Ramsey. They still have Jared Goff. I'm curious to see what they did at running back again, how they address that situation. I don't know. I'm picking Sean McVay here. I really am. I'm going coach on this one.
I am not copy and pasting this time. I do have Philly taking this. Philly is a hard place to play, and the Rams losing Gurley and Jared Goff is not the quarterback that people thought he was. And I just feel like Philly is going to, have something to prove this year with how last year kind of went with everything. So yeah. I have Philly taking this one.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Eagles.
Okay.
Like Tyler said, they're at home, and you've also got a Eagles team that at this point in the season is hopefully going to be trying to prove them. And I also think the Rams, they've ran into so many cap issues. I believe they lost another stud lineman this year. So, and they lost Todd Gurley, and I think just all this stuff just over and over and over again doesn't help them. They do have a good coach, but can only do so much with what you got. And offensive lineman is one of those places, Jackson, where you can't.
You were completely correct, but for the Cowboys to make the playoffs, I need the Eagles to lose a couple games. All right, so this is where it works into the schedule. So
playing the Rams, okay, just beat the Eagles, Jackson. Jesus. Next up, we have that easy exactly. We have the Broncos at the Steelers. All right, so real quick, I do want to remind everyone that Big Ben will hopefully be back in football.
He should be.
So what y'all got?
He should be. I got Pittsburgh at home, man. I'm really riding high on Big Ben this year. Him being away last year, I think it hurt him and everything. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do healthy, right? Healthy Juju, healthy Big Ben, healthy O-line. Moving forward, Mike Tomlin, their defense was absolutely incredible towards the end of last year. Mike Tomlin, like we said before, should have actually been coach of the year with what he was able to do with literally third stringers all over the place. Minka Fitzpatrick was well worth the pick to Miami. I got Pittsburgh at home. I don't think Denver's going to be able to score on this defense.
Okay, I have Denver winning. I hear me out. Drew Lock, with the wide receiving core he is going to have next year, I think will have a standout year.
They definitely did address the wide receiver position, that's for sure.
You have Cortland Sutton, you have Jerry Jeudy, you have Noah Fant. That entire wide receiving core, I think, will be great, and I think Drew Lock will show us that he deserves to have that starting spot over Joe Flacco.
I mean, I can agree with those points too. I think Denver's going to have a much better year this year than they did last year. I don't think they quite get it done against Pittsburgh, especially on the road, but they definitely addressed that wide receiver position was much needed.
Yep.
I got the Steelers because I'm not brain dead, you weirdo. Everything Jackson said holds true. All right. Next up, we have the Panthers traveling to Tampa Bay to face the GOAT.
To face the GOAT, indeed, Mr. Lucas. And actually, for this one, it's going to be a bit. I just want to make sure I find where the Buccaneers played last. Okay, so this is the Buccaneers home opener. Okay, and we all know that stadium is. Should it be allowed with fans this year, is going to be absolutely rocking for the home opener with TB12. There's going to be TB12 jerseys absolutely everywhere. The atmosphere will be electric. It's going to be Bridgewater's first road game as well. Okay, going into Tampa Bay, it's going to be a tough environment. Rob Gronkowski's back with the team. What they have with the wide receiver core is actually ridiculously unfair. They addressed offensive line needs. They have too much here. Bruce Arians as well. I don't think Christian McCaffrey and Bridgewater are going to be enough to deal with this. I got the GOAT at home.
I agree. I have Tampa Bay winning this as well. I really am interested to see how this Carolina team plays this year because I was very high on Matt Rule when he was coming out of Baylor. I was really wanting him to be the Giants head coach at one point, but
Yeah.
I don't think him with his play calling will be enough against this team. This team is stacked from at every position basically.
I'm also going to go with the Buccaneers. I feel like it's too hard for the Panthers to overcome what they're walking into. It's just too much. There's too much against them. You got the crowd's going to be super hype. You're already going to be intimidated because you're playing against Tom Brady with Gronk, with all the weapons, and he wants to prove himself and prove that he made the right choice in going to Tampa Bay.
Yeah. On the road in Tampa, I mean, and this is not just a thing against Carolina. There's a whole lot of teams in the league that I wouldn't really have the confidence in to go in on the road for Tom Brady's, first home game in Tampa and have the ability to win. There's a very few select teams that I think would even have a chance to do that. So Carolina just happened to be the unlucky puller of this particular straw. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Next up, you got Jacksonville traveling to the Tennessee Titans. It's the last
Mr.
12
Lucas.
o'clock game that we've got this week, and everyone knows the Titans are going to win. Okay, we're at home. Derrick Henry owns Jacksonville. All right, we're going to be karate chopping necks all night. All right, there's going to be 12 stiff arms, and at least 3 people are going to get carried away on stretchers when their esophagus is just like slapped out of the back of their neck. All right,
copy paste.
we own them.
Copy paste. I got the Titans winning this one as well. Lucas, quick question for you: will Derrick Henry have another 99-yard run?
No, because it's been done twice, and that was only the second time. So the odds of us being stuck on the 1 yard line are very slim.
Okay, fair enough. Titans at home.
I'm gonna pick. No, I'm playing.
I was gonna for a second there. I was like, you guys saw my eyes light up. I was like, no way, dude. He's not picking Jacksonville on the road.
I have Tennessee, but I have Tennessee winning this.
And if Tennessee somehow loses this, you guys ever want to hear a depression pod? It's going to be this one. Be sure to tune in that week. If Jacksonville so happens to cause an upset, we might hear an actual uproar from Lucas. He'll have the free mic for 10 whole minutes, and we're just going to let him go on a rant. I'm just in advance. I'm telling you guys right now.
I'll definitely have to come back for that one.
You'll be more than welcome. I'm probably going to need some backup.
I don't want to be around you if my team loses. Next up, we've got the Redskins traveling to the Cardinals.
Yes, man. I think this is. Let me see if I'm not mistaken, Lucas. This is okay. I want to check. I want to see if this is the. Okay, it is. So this is the Cardinals' home opener, right? D-Hop in Arizona for the first time, playing in that stadium alongside of Larry Fitzgerald. I don't have a lot of faith in the Redskins. I mean, just in general, much less on the road up against D-Hop. So I'm going to go with Arizona. I feel like they have a lot more to offer on offense. Chase Young could have a decent game this time. I mean, the Cardinals don't really have that great of an offensive line, so we possibly could have a 2 to 3 sack game. We'll see, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I'm going Arizona.
Yeah, I've also got the Cardinals winning.
Yeah, I'm same. I've got Arizona.
All right,
I thought you were busy doing something, so I went in.
No, you're good.
I thought you were thinking.
Yeah,
No.
we're in agreement.
Yep.
Cardinals at home.
Ravens at the Texans. This will be a cool game.
This will be a good one. This will be a good one. The Texans are going to miss D-Hop in this game. That's for sure. Okay, have you guys seen Hollywood Brown, like on Instagram or whatever? He's doing the Antonio Brown drills. Like, like with his helmet in the parking lot, that type of thing. Like, all the different catching drills that he's doing. I'll tell you what, man, I got Baltimore on the road here. I think Bill O'Brien's really going to miss having the best wide receiver in the league during this game. Wide receiver by committee is just not going to be enough to beat the Ravens offense.
I agree completely. That Ravens are going to win this. Lamar Jackson's going to play like how he was last year. I don't think we see a fall off from him.
Now I'm not even gonna get to the whole Lamar Jackson.
I was gonna say we're gonna open up a can of worms with that one. Lucas, and Lucas has been a prophet, so he's probably right. But
I do have the Ravens winning. I don't think the Texans have a defense to deal with Lamar Jackson the way that you need to, and I think the Ravens have a better coach. I think when people talk about the Ravens, they talk about their coach, or not. I'm sorry, excuse me. They talk about Lamar Jackson more than they talk about the coach and the coaching that really goes into that team. They've always been a well-coached team since Harbaugh's been there.
Harbaugh's a great coach.
He's a very good coach.
Way better than
Billy.
Way better than old Billy, that's for sure. That is for sure.
Right.
Now, as to Lamar Jackson having an MVP like year, like he did last year, it's not going to happen, right? Defenses are going to be able to kind of figure him out. I think he's still going to have a good year, right? And he's still going to provide that dynamic offense, but I don't think he's going to have an MVP like year again.
I don't think he'll have an MVP year, but
I
don't
think
14-2.
We ain't doing this. We ain't doing this.
We're not opening up that can of worms? Okay.
You know what, Tyler? Whenever we have a pod and one of the big topics is about Lamar and I'm going off about him, you will be there, okay?
Okay.
You'll be there, and I'll fight both of you. All right?
Fair enough.
No, you dodged me so much.
Well, Chiefs at the Chargers.
Let me tell you what, man. Chiefs and
Landslide.
Chargers and Rams fans have it good this year, okay? You get to go to that stadium multiple times throughout the year. This is the home opener, right? So it's going to be another – dude, I'm telling you what, man. This stadium and these teams are going to be bringing in so much money just from the sheer amount of home games that they have. So you have a home game this time is for the Chargers. Sadly, it's going to be the hype will be short-lived. Patrick Mahomes is coming to town. They're going to absolutely throttle L.A. I got the Chiefs in a big one.
I think this is a 400-yard plus game for Patrick Mahomes. I think he's just going to run through this team and just make them look like a college football organization.
Tyreek Hill will torch them.
Yes, 100%.
I agree that the Chiefs are going to win, and I could definitely see a blowout. There's like 1% in the back of my head that's a little bit reserved about it being a complete blowout, just because it's same division.
True.
And teams in the same division tend to do some weird stuff, man.
That's so true.
That's true.
And it is home for the Chargers, so you would think maybe Joey Bosa gets a. I'm sorry, is that the wrong guy?
No, that's
Joey
Bosa. That's the right one.
Yeah, Nick's with San Francisco.
Nick's the other one. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe Joey gets a strip sack. Someone takes it back for a touchdown or something weird, makes it a closer game.
Yeah.
Patriots at Seahawks next up.
I'll tell you what, man. This is our Sunday night football game, and should have Tom Brady been with the Patriots, I thought this was going to be a much closer game. Sadly, you're going into Seattle on the road Sunday night. The lights are on, right? The whole nation is watching you, and the Patriots are going to end up losing, signaling the fall of the once great dynasty, which lasted for 20 years, which is absolutely amazing. We're never going to see something like that again. But Seattle is going to walk away with their home opener, their win. Russell Wilson's going to have a good game. The Patriots, yes, they have a good defense. And who knows, maybe through the preseason or by this time, at this point, later on when we get in the actual season, we'll see what Jarrett Stidham has. Maybe he's, I don't know, the next good quarterback. I just don't have anything to go off of for him at the moment. So I have to give the quarterback edge to Seattle. The only thing that the Patriots could have, they have the coaching edge, they have the defense, but I just don't know if they're going to be able to score enough points. So I got with Seattle at home.
I agree completely. I think Patriots are going to be an interesting team to watch for sure, but I don't think that they're going to have enough for the Seattle team.
All right, Casey, load up the pitchforks, all right? Because we're all three picking the Seahawks to beat the Patriots, okay? So just load up the torches and pitchforks. Get ready to come riot outside of our YouTube comments. Because I already know it's going to be on there. He's going to go off on us. I'm expecting it.
I'm expecting it too.
They don't stand a chance. The Patriots are gonna lose. Their defense ain't the same as it was last year, even though the defense was amazing last year. I know you still have an amazing coach. You don't have a quarterback.
And you won't have as good special teams, right? You lost your special teams coach who was so good he got hired as a head coach in New York. So that's going to be part of it as well. I really think this is going to be kind of that primetime game where we're going to see the quote-unquote fall of the Patriots dynasty. Is going to be finally visualized for us on screen. We've heard about it all throughout the year and the summer and the offseason, Tom Brady leaving and Belichick versus Brady and this and that. We're going to really see it now. And it's going to be it's going to be a momentous occasion for NFL fans across the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Last game of the week, Saints at the Raiders.
Listen, man, I got Drew Brees going into L.A. Me and Lucas talked about this on the draft recap. We don't agree with the Raiders draft picks. Although, what do we know? We're not John Gruden. Maybe John Gruden hit slam dunks on all these and we just don't know it. Who knows? I mean, I got the Saints kind of running away with this one, ruining that Vegas home opener with a brand new stadium, which, by the way, looks absolutely immaculate. It looks really cool. Like, they went with this whole, like, they call it the black hole, right, in the Vegas, at home, like with the Raiders. And so their whole stadium's kind of black, like cool looking glass. Anyway, it's going to be short-lived. Drew Brees coming to town. Knock on wood if you're with me. No? Okay. All right, bet.
Wow. I don't have wood or I would do it.
I got the stairs. I can go knock on that real quick. I completely agree. Drew Brees is going to make this team look silly. I think he's way too good, and I think he's still got a lot in him. So.
Yeah, Drew Brees. I mean, I know you're trying to. You're in the Death Star. I don't know what they're calling it, but it looks like a whole spaceship, man.
It really does. It's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's really sad that such an amazing stadium is going to be wasted on a garbage team. The Saints are going to destroy it.
Listen, can we for a second, like a side note, talk about the fact that the Raiders even have it, like the Vegas even has a team? So let's think about this for a second. Let's take a bunch of young in their 20s guys in their primes who are, by the way, millionaires, and stick them in the middle of Las Vegas. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Let's take a bunch of good-looking guys in their prime with millions of dollars to waste in Vegas.
Yeah.
What could happen?
Hey, the only thing is if Dennis Rodman and Antonio Brown were there. It's the only thing that could make.
Could you imagine if Antonio Brown was still on this team in Vegas?
Whew, yeesh.
Dude, Mike Mayock be having to bail this guy out every weekend. I'm telling you.
100%.
That's it for the picks, though, for our week 2 predictions.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love it. I love
that was a good time.
Stuff, man. It's awesome.
I did too.
So our last bit, we got normally we do take it or leave it.
We do.
But this week, since we have a guest, we're going to do questions for Mr. Tyler. And since I normally ask the questions, Jackson will be asking the questions this time.
Listen, man, I don't think you understand, Tyler, what we're giving you with this segment. This is literally my favorite segment of the podcast. Lucas talks about it all the time. He comes up with good take it or leave it questions, and I shiver whenever I get to go to take it or leave it. Okay, it's a great time. So you have the honor, my friend, as our guest. So I have a couple different questions for you. I'm gonna take it or leave it. All right. What are your thoughts? All right, complete thoughts here. You can go into detail on the addition of Joe Judge as a head coach.
At first, when I saw it, I was a little upset because I wanted Matt Rule. Like I said earlier, Matt Rule was my number one person that I wanted us to hire. And then when I saw that he was a special teams coach for the Patriots, at first it upset me. But then it's like the more I thought about it, it's like we've seen Belichick's, disciples, go out and be good coaches in the NFL, with Mike Vrabel being, the most recent one. So I'm very excited to see how he does, and I think he'll be great with him and Jason Garrett.
Yeah, excellent. I was really curious, like, I'd never seen a special teams coordinator hired as a coach before. Like, that that never even came across our mind. To be honest, I didn't even know we had special teams coordinators. I knew there were special teams coaches, but I didn't know they had the coordinator title, quote unquote. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So you are inheriting the head coach from the Dallas Cowboys for almost 10 years, Mr. Jason Garrett, otherwise known as Coach Clapp. All right. He's had a couple of
that long?
Yeah. We hired him back in 2010, 11. He was with us like 9 to 10 years.
That's
No
crazy.
wonder Cowboy fans are so toxic and angry all the time.
Yeah, dude, we had him for so long. Actually, he was supposed to leave to be the Baltimore head coach, but he declined the offer, and they instead signed John Harbaugh, and so he ended up staying with us.
That's
So
crazy.
I think actually this is what, when I go back to history, I think about this. If we had let Jason Garrett go, we could have gotten John Harbaugh as our head coach, which
That's
would
upsetting.
I think we had a chance to get him, and that it blows my mind that we had 9 years of Coach Clapp instead of 9 years with
That's really depressing.
John Harbaugh. You wonder why we're toxic and angry, because we've had nothing to cheer for so long, Lucas. Okay, we had anyway.
I understand.
Yeah,
I
you,
understand.
you
I
get it.
understand
Okay.
it, bro.
Anyway, so do you have high expectations? Can Jason Garrett be the difference as offensive coordinator for the Giants?
I think if he's not the primary play caller, I think that he will do very well, and especially developing some of the younger guys on offense. You know, he has a good history with quarterbacks with Romo and Dak so far, and him with Danny Dimes, I think will be a good fit.
I think
I
he's going
think
to
he'll
end
do
up. I think he's going to end up being the primary play caller, though,
And if he does,
as offensive coordinator. And that's, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I always thought, but I did tell Lucas, like going back and talking about Jason Garrett, I think he'd be fine coordinator, right?
Yeah.
It's just that the head coach, I think, was a little too much for him, but he should be a fine coordinator. We'll see. We also have a theory, don't we, Lucas, that he'll be coordinator for a year or two and then end up being the Jets head coach after that.
They
I mean-
need something.
they need something. Adam Gase is not it. So.
Adam Gase is not a that's fact. Okay, so we're talking about Danny Dimes, talking about Daniel Jones here. Moving into question number 3. Okay, you guys picked him up at number 6 last year in the draft. There's a lot of questions and controversy behind that. You pick him up at number 6. You start him over Eli. Eli's retired. He's done. He's your franchise now. What is Daniel Jones' ceiling? Can he be an MVP type quarterback?
MVP type.
I'm not saying this
Definitely not.
season. I'm saying throughout
Yeah.
the course of his career, what's his ceiling? Like, how high can he go?
I don't think he'll be an MVP caliber player, but I think he definitely could be somebody like a Phillip Rivers, a Big Ben, an Eli, just with how good they were over their career, just not MVP caliber. You've got multiple Super Bowls when you talk about a group like that. Multiple Pro Bowls. I think he can be that type of player.
So he could be a Pro Bowl, possibly an All Pro, but not like an MVP, is what you're saying.
That's it. Yes.
Okay. Lucas, I kind of saw you kind of smirk a little bit over there. You have any thoughts on that, on Danny Dimes?
No, I mean, I honestly thought he was going to say yes, so that's why I had my little thing going on.
No.
I can. I mean, it's hard as young as he is. It's hard to say what his ceiling is, because obviously with any player, I think that makes it into the NFL, they're extremely gifted, extremely talented, and there is a chance they could accomplish anything. I don't think any of us believe Lamar Jackson would be MVP.
Right.
And his coach changed the whole organization, the whole makeup of it, and did something that was against the NFL norm and made Lamar Jackson the MVP.
That's true.
That's true.
That's a very good
And
point.
so,
And it was just
if
like
everything was perfect, yes.
hearing the story about him, like in the Tampa Bay game last year, when we got our first W of the season against Tampa Bay. The players were saying about like his leadership in the huddle. For a young guy to be like that, I think just shows that he's something special.
Yeah. Hopefully, man. I mean, not hopefully for me, for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Because if we got another Eli Manning or another Big Ben to deal with in our own division, then that spells problems for us. Okay, you guys got to give us a little bit of time to try to do something. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
No, real quick.
Yes.
Just, I need the man to grow some facial hair or something before I can take him seriously. All right. Danny Dimes looks about 10. It fits his name.
He does.
I need something.
Yeah, he's definitely a young guy. We'll see what he has, man. So so All Pro, not MVP, Pro Bowler, that type of level. Okay, that's respectable. That's respectable. You can win in this league with that, so that's good.
Yep.
Okay, so
And
the final question I have for our kind of take or to leave it segment for Mr. Tyler is Okay, so a little background here. The last running back to win an MVP was Adrian Peterson back in 2012 with the Minnesota Vikings, okay? It hasn't happened since then. It's been all quarterbacks. What are the chances that Saquon can win MVP this year? And if that does happen, if he has an MVP-like year, wins that award, how deep can the Giants go in the playoffs, assuming Saquon is MVP?
All right. Saquon being MVP, like his chances, I think are slim to none. I think for that to happen, he definitely has to not have the injury issues that he's had over his first 2 seasons. And he's definitely going to have to pick it up from last year, because last year he had some great plays, but overall he was not the same player that we saw his first season.
Yeah.
And a 15% chance, if you want a percentage to it, like it would be it'd be great if he did, but I don't see it.
You don't see it? What about if he did have that year? How far can the Giants go if Saquon's in MVP mode?
I think we would have to run our offense a lot like how the Titans ran it last year, where you just got to tire them out and just let in our case would be Saquon, you just let him loose. But if that did happen, maybe second round, divisional round. I think it would quarterback play when you get into those deeper rounds.
Yeah, start playing to the NFC Championship there. Yeah, that's what I was gonna think. I think if he's in MVP mode, you probably the NFC Championship game. At least I would hope so. Because I feel like for a running back to reach MVP status in this league with how many points are scored and how many passing yards these quarterbacks are having, I feel like you have to have 1,800 yards plus to be considered for an MVP year for a running back. I mean, what do you think, Lucas? I mean, how great does a running back have to be in this day and age to be considered? I mean, Christian McCaffrey was in the conversation last year for a bit.
Well, I mean, I think you got to be breaking records. That's what. Like McCaffrey was on pace to be breaking some records. Dude was going to have he was on pace for 1,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think that for Saquon Barkley to be in the MVP conversation or to win it, we're talking about winning it, right?
Yeah, winning it.
Oh, he's got to get like 2,000 rushing yards. He's got to get into the Saquon 2K club.
Saquon 2K. I'm telling you, man, I think he's really one of the best running backs in the NFL. We and Lucas have talked about this multiple times. We got Christian McCaffrey, and then we got, there's you kind of develop onto tiers from there. Saquon Zeke or Zeke Saquon, kind of in that mix. Right, and then of course you got Derrick Henry, who belongs up there, and Dalvin Cook. Then you start dropping off to the Alvin Kamaras of the world. He's definitely in that top echelon. He's definitely top 3, arguably top 2. So if there's a running back that can do it, and it could be a team that kind of surprises everybody, I don't know. I feel like Saquon can kind of have that. This could be his year. So we'll see.
Yep, I agree.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for listening to Go For Tube, Season 2, Episode number 6. This is our first guest ever. We had Tyler. Tyler, thank you once again for coming on.
I appreciate it.
We certainly did love having you. Of course, Tyler, co-host of the 100 Point Club podcast. They talk about all things Call of Duty Esports. We'll leave the link down in the description below for you guys to go check it out. Please also don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Leave us some comments down there, okay? Casey's getting lonely, all right? He's been commenting on every video by himself for a long time. Tyler, if that would be great if you could leave some comments, leave some questions. We talk about it every episode. We open with all of the different comments and talk about it, so you guys can be part of the show with us. But guys, I think that's it from us here in the studio. We will see you guys later. Love y'all. Bye.